Hello, everyone. Welcome to our second Tea Time Thursdays with Priyanka and Kelly. So, yeah, yeah, we just had to do this. It's a signature, right? So, mm. Anyway, so this is our second part two of our previous week. We're going to continue about influencers and how they actually have an impact on our levels of engagement in our everyday life. And just to do a quick recap, in the first episode, we did energy, we did relationships. We talked a little bit about relationships and having a good relationship with ourselves, what it means to have self-love. And in the second episode, we talked a little bit about energy, because when we have self-love, we have sufficient self-love, it leads to high amount of energy that we have for ourselves. And hence we will be broadcasting this high level of energy to people around us and at our workplace, in our everyday lives. And then we went on to talk a little bit about to give some awareness about the stresses and the influences that impact us in our daily life and impact our level of engagement. And I can see Priyanka looks lovely today. She's bright and yeah, and you notice that we have our lights, our filter lights on our photo on our video here. Yeah, because it's Diwali today. And so before we jump into today's topics, the points that we're going to cover, the remaining three. Last week we did physical, mental, and emotional. This week we're going to cover three other influences. So before we hop into that, I'm gonna give the time to Priyanka to tell us a little bit more about Diwali and how it's very real. I mean, as how it links to our the influences that we're going to talk about today. Priyanka?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you so much, Kelly. You two are, by the way, looking really very pretty
Thank
today.
you. Have to dress for the occasion.
Yeah, it's my favorite festival, though. I really love Diwali amongst all the festivals that we have in India. So, a little bit history about Diwali. Our Indian viewers will definitely know about it. But just to share here, Diwali is celebrated, it's observed on the new moon day. And there's a special planetary position that is considered and all of it. And the reason it is celebrated is because Lord Rama, he came back to Ayodhya after 14 years of exile, along with his brother and his wife.
14 years is a long time.
Yes, it definitely, certainly, is a very long time. So, and people of Ayodhya, they loved Rama and they were so happy of his return that they lit entire city with lamps, or we say diya in Hindi. So those oil lamps were lit and people celebrated like anything on the return. And it is also a symbol of victory of light over darkness. So there's a Sanskrit thing that we say that Tamso Ma Jyotirgamaya. It means please provide me the light and help me move from darkness towards the light. So it's a prayer to God. So in a nutshell, that's about the history. But thinking about the history, I just am thinking that what kind of situation, under which circumstance Rama went for exile. It is his stepmother who wished for it from Dashrath, the king of Ayodhya. So it happened because of the social circumstances, right? People around us. Right. So similarly, what happens is, if I bring up the first influencer, which impacts a lot of us probably every day. So social influencer is something wherein we feel that we are surrounded by people who doesn't resonate with our thought process. And they'll also be, so if I'm starting a new project or doing something innovative which has not been done in my family or friends or around me in an office, anything for that matter, there'll always be somebody who would say that, okay, that's not possible, you can't do it. Oh, it's a waste of time, that won't happen. Naysayers will always be there. So that may detract energy, and that can ultimately impact our performance and engagement. So I'm curious that what kind of situation you have felt, Kelly?
Actually, when you mentioned about how, for example, you want to start something for a project or anything for yourself, and you start to share it with people around you, or they get to know about it, and somehow they may not intentionally want to, because I've experienced it myself, where family life, let's say, for example, like if I were to start a new project, I always get very excited about doing things, creative things, and or I start to embark on something personal that's very close to my heart. And guess what? Who's the closest person that's going to say something? It's either, for those of you out there, it's probably your partner, your husband, your wife, your parents. For me, because I mean, I see my mom every day, almost, so she would be the first one to say something. And I find that it's hard sometimes to not let it not be affected by the social influences such as that, whereas maybe they have better intentions, maybe they have good intentions for saying what they say, but somehow when we listen to it, we hear it, it may not be what we need to hear at that moment, right? So that influences our energy level. It kind of like was 100, and then it's like, phew, okay, like I'm at a 20 now just because of what I heard. Yeah, so it's kind of an important thing to have awareness, that to know that whoever says anything, at the end of the day, we still need to listen to ourselves, right? We still need to have that rooted voice within us. Yeah, so just awareness. And yeah, I'm very it's just so real that the social influences at work anytime, so we need to just be aware to also find out what encourages us to do what we want to do. Yeah. And which brings me to the next point of the spiritual influences. Actually, they are very closely, to me, it's closely linked. Okay, because specifically, if I want to do a certain thing, if I want to start writing, for example, which I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I want to do it specifically according to my set of beliefs, values, and what I believe is right by my standards, right? These are my spiritual influences that motivates me. And if I'm in a place where environment, for example, or in a situation whereby these beliefs of mine just do not get in sync with the project I'm about to do, or there's just some misalignment there, and it may actually cause me to have some inner conflict as well within myself. And that itself, that conflict, that friction detracts the energy away from my project that I was actually excited to do. And I'd like to highlight here the difference between spiritual and religious influences. They may go in hand at any one point in time, but they are not one and the same, because you may use a religious set of beliefs to motivate, right? And that's fine. But these set of beliefs are usually held by a group of people. Whereas what about our individual spiritual influences? What do we hold dear? What are our value systems, right? That's another thing on its own. And it's fine it's great if we can both mash these two together, right? And but they're not one and the same. You don't have to, I just want to clarify the difference between spiritual and religious influencer. So an example was, I like to be on time, and that is part of my belief, and it keeps me calm if I'm on time. Whereas if something happens that derails me, for example, like I feel that this is not going to get done on time, some other factors come in, I do get less spirit. I mean, I do get less energetic about what I'm doing and less engaged. Yeah. So that's my piece for spiritual influences. Yeah. And then the next one we have would be the environmental, right? Which is all around us. I'll just, leave it to you, Priyanka.
Yeah. So, and I really like the way you have synced the social and spiritual and distinguished the religious with spiritual.
Thank you.
So, yeah. And so what I think is, or let me say, what I'm feeling here is for the spiritual influencer. And I think we have spoken about one part of it, which is value, in one of our episodes, that how critical it is that when our values are not in sync, how can we feel? How it can totally detract us from all the possible energy that we could gather. right? So thank you for bringing that up.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's really very real, right? It's a very everyday thing we face. Yeah.
Yeah. And talking about environmental, so a lot of times we don't really pay attention to it, but it definitely acts at levels wherein we are not aware of it or we don't acknowledge it. For an example, environmental is about the resources that we have around. It is about the ambience. It is about the weather, as simple as weather, as simple as the technology that we are working with right now. So, for an example, if we just that was my help who just went died. Okay, so it is about yeah, so if technology doesn't work, so suddenly if my power cuts off and the internet goes off, what will I do? It will detract my energy. How much ever excited I am to do this episode, to record this with you, or to have a conversation with you live here, right? It will just, bring my energy down. So
Exactly.
that way also, it could be as simple as heat. In India, we this is a tropical country, so during the time of summers, it is too hot. So I may be feeling very excited, but because of the environment around me, it is so hot and all that, it definitely is going to impact the energy that I am having that moment.
I totally feel that this is where I'm luckier in the sense that I'm in a country where there's no climate change. Mostly it's either hotter, or more humid, less humid, rainy, and the thing we can use for us to manage that would be the air conditioning. So that's still okay. But I really empathize with you and your situation that sometimes you cannot control the weather, right? And you want to do an activity and it just like takes you off track. And recently, I realized there's a whole series of power outages where I am, not power, sorry, internet disruptions where I was recently working, and it caused a lot of stress among me and my colleagues. And we were just, because that's our main source of a go-to, and it's how our business runs. So but we can still, having said all these influences, right, choose on how we want to act and choose on how we want to respond, which is what we talked about in the first or second episode. We talked about having the choice to respond when we are aware of these influences that exist, right? It's just really beyond our control. What we can control is find a way to soothe ourselves first, collect ourselves, and realize that it's really, really not something we can control. Yeah. And as humans, we want to control everything when possible. We just want everything to be smooth, of course, we want things to run as they should. However, just, yeah, there's a test of the environment, the social, the spiritual, and all these influences. Yeah. So I guess,
I mean, what I feel when you're talking about all these influences is, and the reason we are sharing this with, everyone who's going to watch it or who's watching it, is because it's not that we don't know that these things exist. We all know that when there is too much of heat, we'll feel it. When we are disconnected, we'll feel it. When we are surrounded by people who are not supportive or who are not like thinkers, we will feel it. But the question here is, how much are we aware of it, that what is impacting? And our effort is to just raise that awareness and kind of highlight it in a way that people, when they face it, they'll be able to recognize it. That, okay, this is happening, and acknowledge it. That, okay, why am I being upset? Why am I feeling angry? Why am I frustrated, or anything for that matter? Because all of this is going to create these kind of emotions within us.
Yeah. And
because,
we can't get everybody even if we've been working for someone for so long, we've been friends or best friends, or we're family members with each other for so long, there's still inevitable friction and differences. And these are the things that we need to embrace, right? So be it, with different different cultures, different families, different race, different everything, even the same people from the same culture, not same people, no, nobody is the same, but even if we're in the same group, we are both brought up in a similar environment and things like that. We're still different. And wouldn't it be great if every one of us can really understand that, we can choose how to be empathetic at times as well. When, yeah, sure, certain things are supposed to go this way. When not all of us have that level of confidence or courage or of the way we react to certain situations, let's just give each other some space, right? To really respond. And let's just collaborate together and work together.
Yeah, that is so true. And I think the entire endeavor of ours here is about the same thing, right? Sharing what we have learned and just trying to put it there for people to kind of, listen to us or, I mean, if I think the thing is, if it can help any one person, I think it would be really great in terms of the intention being met.
Right. Definitely.
And that is why I feel that being aware about these things is so important. We all know about it because we go through it. It's just how much we are aware. And you brought a very well point of responding to a situation. If my power goes off, I can as well get frustrated. I can as well get angry and bang on my table. But at the same time, if I'm aware, okay, power is off, then what is all that I can do? Probably I can text Kelly or my meeting members that, okay, my power is gone. I'll join as soon as possible. And if I'm the presenter, I can apologize and probably reschedule that meeting or presentation. That is it that is in my control. I cannot control power.
Exactly. We can control our energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think this entire effort is about that, as to how we are aware of it, we acknowledge it, and then we respond about it.
Yes, exactly. So we want to round up today's episode. Take it away, Priyanka, with yeah.
Yeah, sure. And I think like I said, guys, this is the reason that we are sharing with you. And we hope you have found it valuable. Today, we spoke about spiritual, environmental, and social influencers. And we hope that you like this. You can let us know how you're feeling about how this is going, our conversation. If you have any feedback, do let us know. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you find it valuable for us, or if you think someone else can find it valuable.
Yes, it's the Festival of Lights today. So we hope that we've shone some light into energy and love and loving yourself, loving the people around you. And we hope that you have a very good public holiday for those of us who are not celebrating. In Singapore, it's a public holiday. In India, it's a celebration of the Festival of Lights. So Priyanka, I really want to wish you and your family
Happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali, yeah. And then we'll see everyone next week again. So
yes.
Yeah, bye everyone.
Happy Diwali, guys.
Happy Diwali.